Hi everyone. So I finished my work today. It's about 1 in the morning, but I thought before I go to sleep I would do my update. I'm still waiting for my login to come from the client, and I'm still applying for better paying jobs. It's really hard. I really don't know what is going to happen. People are shocked, especially new people coming from Nigeria and India to this country, that I'm taking a job in a call center. So I told them, you know what, you guys are young, you don't have the experience I have, and you don't know how hard it is over here. There are people who have lived here their whole lives, and they would die to get a job like you working in the call center. So I just have to do whatever I can, and hopefully I'll come up and I'll get a better wage or a second job or something. But anyway, I'm sure most of you noticed I've said my goodbyes to Bono and you too in terms of my leadership. I think it's interesting that Bono has chosen Nigeria, which is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. He's chosen a leader from there to lead us. And I wish her the best, but, I've been talking to people at my work. I've been talking to men and women, and they just keep telling me how awful it is. And the reality is that Bono's not the one going in and meeting with the politicians or setting up the meetings and talking to them. And as volunteers, we get nothing out of it except the goodness of our hearts. The champions in Africa, they do get, at least they get a title, they get some privileges from what I understand, but us here in Canada, we don't get anything. And it doesn't benefit us in any way. It's not like the politicians are opening doors for us or getting us jobs or helping us in any way. And my dream was to work with Bono directly. And he's made a choice to get Muslim women to lead it. Najiba is Muslim in Toronto, and she's a really nice lady. I've met her and I wish her the best. She's going to be traveling with him, and she went to the One in America campaign. So when you get to travel like that, you get to meet people, you get to do interesting things, and I'm happy for her. Also, our leader that's been chosen to lead the campaign, before we had Gail in the US, and she was leading it. She was an African American or a Negro. And our new person has come from Nigeria. So I'm very happy for her, because I think it's important that the person who's leading it comes from the African background. I was hoping that I would be chosen or selected to do something to work directly with Bono, because that was always my dream. But he obviously did not think I was good enough, and he did not see in me what I see in myself, my leadership skills, my abilities, my talents. He obviously did not think I was good enough to be selected to represent him for Canada, or to represent him in a role where I would get paid for it. So, I've supported him through everything. I always commented on his posts, on his YouTube posts was the way I kept in touch with him, encouraged him to come out when he was going through a rough time. And I've done a lot. In most of us who started on that one campaign, most people left after a month. They're like, forget it. I mean, he's a rock star and it's nice and everything. We want to make a difference, but this is too hard. So I stuck with it for a long, long time. But I think the news coming out of Nigeria and the corruption, the kidnapping of girls, women and girls, it being a Muslim country, I mean, it's the heads of state are Muslim. For me, it's going to be a conflict, because, I can work with other Muslims. I don't have a problem with that. But I just feel it's too much. It's you putting yourself out there when you represent him. You're meeting with politicians. And don't get me wrong, I know that Jesus went into places that were controversial. I know he had dinners with sinners, and he chose women leaders, and the woman in adultery. The man wasn't even mentioned. But for a woman to commit adultery, it must have been something unusual. The men commit adultery, who cares? But when women commit adultery, there must be some pain so deep that, she turns away from her partner, her life partner, that she's made this commitment to commit adultery. So I said my goodbyes to Bono, and I wish him the best. I loved him for a long, long time, and Sister Kathleen McAlpin, she knows how much I love Bono and how I long to work with him. It was my dream to work with Bono directly and to travel with him, to get to meet his leadership team, to meet all of them. I mean, Larry Mullen, the band generally. But I thought things through, and, before I've taken a break and I've gone back and I've said, okay, let me try again. But I think I'm just going to help on social media now and again, and I'm stepping back from the real nitty-gritty because I don't see a need to put myself out there. And people know me. Today, I was coming home on the TTC, and there was a Muslim woman sitting on the train. And I went and I sat down next to her. And there were these two young guys standing next to me. And they're like, she's sitting next to her. Isn't that Bono's representative? And I just ignored them. But I guess, I came from a background where all of us Hindus, Muslims, Christians, we were all one. In Canada, it's not like that. But a lot of my colleagues are gone now. Innie's gone. A lot of the people that I went to that summit with are gone. So there's a new bunch of faces out there, and I'm sure that Bono's going to invest a lot of his time, his energy, and his love into them, just like he did with us at the beginning. But he hasn't come to Canada. He hasn't, the invitations were sent by me directly through the One campaign. The requests for help were sent, and the answers were no. And I've applied many times for jobs with him. And I think, the church plays a big part in what Bono does. He supports a lot of the Catholic charities. So I'm sure they had a role and a hand in whoever got selected to these leadership positions. And I wish them the best, but I'm hoping for me things will change, that I'll start making good money, and that I'll be able to travel and do the things I want to do and build my John Maxwell speaking. And I just think it's the right time for me to say goodbye and to wish them the best. I don't like the news coming out of Nigeria, and it's not Bono that's going to be coming with us when we go to meet the politicians. The people he's chosen, the women he's chosen, will get to spend a lot of time with him. They'll get to be fed by him, nurtured by him, nourished by him, which are all the things I wanted for myself. But I hold no grudge. I wish them the best. I know I'm a beautiful woman, and I know there'll be other opportunities to help other people. But that was my dream. And when your dreams don't fulfill, it is heartbreaking. It does hurt you. But you wish them well, and I hope things turn around for Nigeria. For me, I'm not willing to go into a country that's the most corrupt, where you have over 300 women and girls being kidnapped. I mean, if the church is going to support him on that and help him, good for them. But, this is the second time that I've kind of thought things through, and I've said, should I, shouldn't I? But I think this time my decision is final. The music will always be a big part of my life, but I met a lot of Nigerians at my work, a lot of young women, and I think I'm making the right decision for me. So, I'll always love Bono, I'll always love the music, But at the end of the day, he didn't have time for me. So that's the way it is. And Inni left after a week. He's like, I'm sorry, Belinda, these people do not understand Africa at all. I said, but Inni, you have to stick around with me. He's like, no, we'll keep in touch. So, yeah, a lot of people are leaving Nigeria. I think he could have chosen any country to pick the leader to lead from. And picking Nigeria is, it's too hard for me. I wish him the best. And he's done well. He's a millionaire. Me, I have no money in my bank account. So my goal is to make money for myself and my mom. And I hope tomorrow when I go to work, my login will be fixed. Pray for me. Pray that I get a break and I get a good paying job, because 20 years is a long time. There are good opportunities out there. And I know I can do a good job for somebody. And let's see, you never know, maybe Sting or Springsteen or some other artist will like me and want to get me involved in what they're doing. But I stuck with Bono for a long, long, long time, and it's time for a change.